Some people grow up believing love has rules, not spoken rules, but felt ones. Be good, be quiet, be useful, be perfect, and maybe then you will be loved. Conditional love does not always look harsh. Sometimes it looks like praise, but only when you succeed. Sometimes it looks like affection, but only when you behave a certain way. And slowly, a child learns something dangerous. Love is not given freely. It is earned. Instead of feeling safe, love becomes something to maintain, something to protect, something that can disappear at any moment. So the child adapts. They become who they need to be to stay loved. They hide parts of themselves, the messy parts, the emotional parts, the imperfect parts, because those parts feel risky. And risk feels like losing love. Over time, this creates a pattern. I am lovable only when I meet expectations. And that belief doesn't stay in childhood, follows into adulthood. As adults, these individuals often become high achievers. They work hard, they perform well, they seek validation, because deep down, they are still trying to earn something they should have received freely. In relationships, conditional love creates anxiety. They overthink everything. Did I say something wrong? Did I do enough? Are they losing interest? Because love feels unstable, like something that must constantly be secured. They may become people pleasers, always adjusting, always giving, always trying to keep the other person happy. Not because they don't have needs, but because their needs were never safe to express. Another common pattern is fear of rejection, not just discomfort, but deep fear. Because rejection does not feel like a moment, it feels like confirmation that they are not enough. Conditional love also creates perfectionism. Mistakes feel unbearable. Failure feels personal. Because if love was tied to performance, then imperfection feels like losing connection. Some people respond in the opposite way. They stop trying completely. They withdraw, detach, avoid closeness. Because if love is conditional, it feels safer not to depend on it at all. This is how different attachment styles form. Some chase love, some avoid it, some fluctuate between both. But at the core, the belief is the same. Love is not safe. There is also a quiet identity loss. When you spend years being who others need you to be, you forget who you actually are. Your preferences feel unclear. Your boundaries feel weak. Because your identity was shaped around acceptance. And yet, from the outside, these people often seem strong, put together, successful, reliable. But internally, there is constant pressure to maintain, to perform, to not lose what they have. The nervous system stays alert, always scanning for changes, a shift in tone, a delayed reply, a different mood. Because small signals can feel like big threats when love once depended on them. But here is something important. Conditional love was not your fault. As a child, you adapted to survive emotionally. You learned the rules of your environment, and you followed them. What helped you survive then may now be limiting how you experience love. But patterns can change. Healing begins with awareness, recognizing that love should not feel like a transaction. It should not feel like something you constantly have to earn. Healthy love is stable. It allows mistakes. It allows imperfection. It allows you to exist fully. Learning this can feel uncomfortable at first, because unconditional love feels unfamiliar, almost suspicious. You may question it. You may wait for it to disappear. But over time, your system can learn something new. You're allowed to be loved without performing, without proving, without shrinking parts of yourself. You are allowed to exist and still be worthy of love. Real love does not ask you to become someone else. It does not disappear when you are imperfect. It does not keep score. It stays. And maybe the most important shift is this. You stop asking, what do I need to do to be loved? And start asking, what kind of love feels safe to me? Because love was never meant to be earned. It was meant to be experienced.